Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 694. I hope you're doing really well today, but if not, let's go ahead and upgrade our minds, because today we're going to be talking about why our brain does not want us to change. That's right. It is actually geared at times to not want to change. And once we discover the reasoning behind it, we can start to then get it back on our side. I really think that our main goal to get the health, the wealth, the career, the relationship, the success, the health, all of that stuff is all about our ability to reconnect with our subconscious, our unconscious mind. Because at the moment, we are going in two different directions. Let's just say you have anxiety, you have the imposter syndrome, you have the fear, the worry, the doubts. You wake up in the middle of the night going, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Am I going to get rejected? Am I going to be fearful? Am I going to look silly? All of those things. Our unconscious mind is running that beneath the surface, because we're not in control of it. I mean, if you could let it go, wouldn't you just kind of click your fingers and then just be free of it? Of course you would, right? So it means if you cannot let it go, it must mean your unconscious mind is running that problem. So we see ourselves as two levels, the conscious and the unconscious. We're pulling in one direction because I know you want that success. I know you want that happiness or that peace or that fulfillment in the context of confidence or in the context of something external. But then there's our brain, our unconscious mind, pulling in the other direction. Now, why would it pull in a different direction when you know that being happy and confident is going to be transforming your life? That to have the self-certainty, you're going to be able to earn the type of money that you desire. And I don't mind if it's $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month. It doesn't matter. Whatever your goal is, wherever your relationships, your career, your business, any endeavor, you want to be able to get those things. So as they are good for us, like we want those things. Otherwise, if it wasn't on our heart, we wouldn't have them in our mind to actually go for them. Our unconscious mind, for some interesting reason, wants us to not only not change, but to remain the same. If we go ahead and break it down simplistically as possible, your unconscious mind runs a certain level of directives. In other words, it has certain missions that it's got to perform for you. And that could be things like the habits that we run, like walking and talking and driving, the things we don't even think about at times, the automatic behaviors. Where it be if you say like cut yourself, you don't consciously do anything other than maybe keep that wound clean. But your body has this inbuilt ability to heal. It also runs and regulates our memories, how we experience them. I mean, if you could change how you see the past, you would. If you cannot, your unconscious mind is a holder of them. It just pops them into our mind. And then the big one, it runs the protection of you. That's going to be our biggest focus today. And I already think it's the one thing that I mainly focus on. Despite your, say, anxiety, despite your fear, despite your worry, despite your doubts, despite maybe your self-sabotage or the imposter syndrome, despite all of those things, your unconscious mind is still trying to protect you. Even if it's the worst panic attack in the world, even if that panic attack is in a situation which is dangerous, our unconscious mind thinks it's trying to protect you. So when you try to push forward, when you go outside of your comfort zone, when you go, I want that dream, I want that goal, I want that promotion, I want that abundance, I want that relationship, I want fill in the blank. You really want it. Your unconscious mind's going, what if? What if you get hurt again? Do you remember that time 5-10 years ago when that thing happened to us? I don't want you to go through that pain. Do you remember what was said to you as a child when everything had to be perfect? What if you fail in the future when you think of that goal? So your unconscious mind is like screaming out, whether it be verbally like the inner critic, or whether it be in our self-sabotaging ways of our behaviors. Your unconscious mind every moment along the way is going to be dragging its heels, trying to stop you get to where you want to be. It's going to do whatever it can to throw all the hurdles. But the problem is you still want to get those goals and dreams. So what do we do? Because now we're in this predicament of part of us really wants something, and even that part of us consciously and logically knows that it's possible. I'm sure if you wrote down everything that you're good at, maybe you went to university, maybe even successful in your career, maybe everyone says that you're good in your job. You know that logically. But if your unconscious mind does not believe it, it's going to self-sabotage, and we're going to feel more conflicted each step of the way. So what we have to do, the real solution as to why your brain is making you stay the same and not change, is we need to get it to realize that what it's doing is not protecting us. You see, once we get it to realize that, remember what I said, the reason or the directives that your unconscious mind has for you. They're all protective mechanisms. The habits, the memories, the beliefs, the healing of the body, the regulating of the body. So if we're like out in the cold, it kind of moves all our heat to our vital organs, all of those things. The fight and flight response, we know that it's trying to protect us, it's trying to keep us safe. So if we can convince your unconscious mind that this anxiety that you're experiencing, this fear that you're experiencing, is not only not protecting you, but it's significantly damaging you. Because stress breaks the chain of good health. Also, that conflict, if we keep it for the rest of our life, we're going to look back and we're going to go, oh my goodness, I wish I took more risks. I wish I went for that relationship. I wish. And that regret is the most painful thing. And I'll tell you why it's very painful. Because time is getting less and less and less. So when you're living in regret, usually that time has passed or is about to pass. Now, to me, that's not healthy. That's not a good way of living. That's not a way where you feel good about yourself. So if we get the unconscious mind to realize that what it's doing by staying the same and not changing is actually detrimental to good health, detrimental to being protected, it biologically 100% has to change. Nothing ever else about it. Your unconscious mind is inbuilt to protect you. If we get it to realize that what it's doing is not doing that and fulfilling that role, but also creating more conflict, it has to change. And this is something that we've got to dive into, because how can we get it to realize that? How can we get it to realize that what it's doing is not working? Well, there are a few ways we can do about it, or what we can do about it. Yeah, we can listen to the hypnosis sessions that I produce and create, because they're all geared, not just suggestion-based therapy, but to be able to get it to realize. There's a sentence that I say, usually, I want you, the unconscious mind, to know what you're doing is in conflict with not only what the conscious mind does or wants, but also that you, the unconscious mind, it's not protecting you. We've got to get it to realize that, so we can do that through hypnosis. The other thing, though, the awakening to that of the unconscious mind, there's another level, because just knowing that it's not protecting you is one thing. But the other thing is, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, is that we need to get the unconscious mind to learn. Once it's learned what it needs to learn, it will not hold onto those past resentments. It won't hold onto those past limiting beliefs and decisions that we've made about ourselves. Maybe we're not worthy or good enough or deserving, or even the beliefs and decisions we've made about the world when it comes to money, when it comes to external relationships, all of those things. If we get your unconscious mind to learn what it's needed to learn, it will take those learnings. This is important. It will take those learnings and allow those learnings to be ever present into your future. In other words, you're not bringing in all the baggage of those negative emotions like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, frustration, resentment, jealousy, all of those things, all the limiting beliefs anymore, because it's got the learnings. So therefore, you're not only free of the past, but when you go into that situation, your unconscious mind's like, I've got this. I know exactly what's going to happen. I've got the learnings. I've got the epiphanies. I've got the insights. I've got the clarity, not just consciously, but unconsciously. You see, once you get your unconscious mind to wake up, there's a couple of phases to this. First of all, consciously, you've got to wake up, right? You don't know what you don't know until it's very, very painful, and you go, oh my goodness, I do not like this anxiety. I don't like this fear. I don't like the imposter syndrome. I've got to do something about it. Because you can't just let your unconscious mind try to solve it by itself. You are not just a passenger in this life experience. You are the instigator. You're the co-creator of it. You are the one who takes control over your life. So yeah, you've got to take responsibility and do whatever it takes to get that awareness that my life has to change today. If I'm not doing something for my future self, if I'm not taking responsibility for who I am and where I'm heading, it means we're more dedicated to staying the same. And that's a harsh truth. If we're not willing to do something different and take responsibility for who we are and where we're heading, it must mean we're more dedicated to stay the same. And that to me is painful. So we need to wake up consciously. Then we need to get your unconscious mind to wake up too, to get it to realize that it's not protecting you. Because it's not. Remember, the intention is beautiful. The intention is trying to protect you. The intention is a safety mechanism. But what comes from intentions is not necessarily the end outcome. It's the start, but not the finish. And the end outcome right now of the stress, the fear, the worry, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough, the fear of getting help, the fear of failing, the fear of not being worthy or of value, all of those things. That's the end outcome happening right now. But it starts with that positive intent. So your goal, your mission, is to not only take responsibility for who you are and where you're heading in the future, but to get your unconscious mind to realize that what it's doing isn't protecting you. And there are safer ways of being where you can get the necessary unconscious learnings, insights, and epiphanies that will protect you in the future. That is what we have to do. Otherwise, it's going to carry on doing what it's always done because it thinks it's fulfilling that outcome of protection. And in a way it is, because it's keeping you playing small. It's keeping you staying stuck. And the other real problem is that you're not consciously willing to stay stuck because you want those goals and dreams. You want that mission and ambition. So yeah, take responsibility for your life and where you're heading, but also take responsibility to rein in the unconscious mind. As I said, you could do this with hypnosis. Just make sure, here's what I always say, make sure you're not working on the symptom and you're working on the root cause. Most people focus on what they feel the most. You feel anxiety, you're going to think anxiety is the issue. If you feel fear, you're going to think fear is the issue. If you have a panic attack, you think panic attack is the issue. If you think it's blushing because you feel that most, that's what you think. But remember, most of those things are consequential of something else. They are the byproduct of something else. So make sure that you're not working on those symptoms anymore. Otherwise, the symptoms just come back bigger and stronger. I mean, notice that. Have you ever noticed that how our issues can get worse, or they go and they suddenly come back into our life like out of the blue, and it gets worse and worse and worse? Well, that must mean we did not solve the root cause. We worked on the symptoms. So do whatever you can to also work on that root cause. And that really is why our brain doesn't want us to change. It has been wired up, geared up to think that this is the only way of being safe in the world. Imagine if a child grew up in fear, in pain, in trauma, being told that they weren't enough. Of course, they're going to keep on replicating that same story within their mind. They're going to keep on doing what they've always done. It takes a special person to go to that child and go, look, you're worth more than this. You take them by the hand and you show them what it's like to live, what it's like to break free, that they're not just a product of their environment. They're not just going to be the result of abuse. You want to get them to realize how beautiful and wonderful and potentiality they have within themselves. Now take that child metaphor and change that child as a representation to your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind has just been acting out and being that way for so long. And the chances are it happened in the beginning. First 7 years of our life based on sociology is the imprint age. So everything is imprinted upon us. So if you went through certain issues, you had high expectations put on you, you had some forms of narcissistic parents or siblings and all those kind of things, or teachers or friends. And then going the next phase of 7 years, between 7 and 14, is when we're modeling people. If your unconscious mind had some of these issues right from the beginning, it is simply acting like that child. It's acting what it thinks is right. And as we know, children aren't always the wisest because they don't have the life experience. So imagine there's a part of you on the inside, young, small, alone, but feels like, oh my goodness, who are we to achieve this goal? So therefore, of course, it's going to try to stay in the same place. That's why it doesn't want us to change, because it's scared, it's worried, it's fearful. So we've got to take responsibility for that child, or the reality of this, for our unconscious mind to then reconnect, get back in rapport, and get you to be the person that you want to be. We need to get our unconscious mind back on track. And guess who does that? It's not me, it's you. Yeah, you can get my help and I can support you and show you the way of how to do that if you're a certain kind of committed, decisive, invested person. But wherever it's all by yourself, if you find someone else, whatever it is for you, just make sure you're waking up to that potentiality that your unconscious mind is doing the best that it can. It's not all that it is, it has more potential. You just got to get to work. You got to realize that there's so much more to live for. And the only reason why it doesn't want you to change, because that's all it's known and it's trying to protect you. We just got to get it to wake up to what is possible, that there are safer ways of being there. And remember, I said to learn, to get the necessary unconscious learnings, so the learnings will be there in the future, rather than that pain that you're going through, which shows up in the anxiety. Otherwise, it just keeps on having that inner critic. Otherwise, it keeps on screaming out with that anxiety and fear. So it's good news ultimately. The good news is it's not trying to do this deliberately. It's trying to do it to protect you. So if we can reconnect with it, we can get a new protection mechanism. Think about it like this. So I've just bought a new computer system, right? Brand new in every single way, just received it on Wednesday. It's a Friday as of the time of this recording for those listening to on the podcast. It is totally spec'd up, not fully, but compared to my old one, it is amazingly better. It has better software movement mechanisms, it's faster, it's quieter, it's more powerful. It's an upgrade. right? It's an upgrade. Now, even if it weren't a new computer, let's just take it in the same sense, in the same realm. Maybe you have some form of antivirus software. Of course, the pattern always updates itself. If you're operating from that version 1 of that antivirus, which was maybe in the early 90s or what have you, then there are new viruses out there trying to get us. However, if we upgrade that system, then it's always going to update that pattern for any ultimate new things happening to the computer, right? So think about it like your neurology, your unconscious mind needs that computer upgrade. It needs to be protected in a whole new way. It's trying to run the old software and program because that's all it knows, but now we can give it the new software update. From version 1, there's what I talk about in my program, by the way. When people enter the program, we have this little idea of, look, this is the 1 version of us, the 1.0, the 1.0, all those kind of things. Now, if you're in my program, we're going to get you to 2.0 or 2.0. It's 2.0, not 0, right? And then some people in my program, I won't name their names, but they're at like 7.0. They're at like 12.0. They're just leveling up their financial wealth and their creativity and their inner contentment and confidence. New things are showing up all the time. But I started at that 1.0 version, and we get up leveled by having an upgrade in our psychology, our physiology, consciously and unconsciously, right? That is what we do within my program. We let it all go within 8 weeks. We just get people to get that protection mechanism. Like I said, I'm not selling anything now because as of the time of this recording, I mean, I will let people know about it, but I'm pretty much at full capacity. We've only got like 1 more week, maybe, of new people because there's only one of me, there's only one of my father, there's only one of Sarah and like the team who like really are here to support you each step of the way. So it was very customized. But what I'm really saying here is that think about it as upgrading the system like my program. That's how it's designed. So take that knowledge and information and maybe find someone who can support you with that, or read the book which is going to change your life if that's possible, or a hypnosis track and all those things. It is all up to you in every single way. Now, of course, if you did want to try to apply for my program, it is an 8-week system, and I always say at the end of these episodes, just in case the right person out there is listening, who is in pain enough, who's willing to be invested, decisive, committed, and ready to make the absolute profound change of a lifetime, not just a now, but a lifetime of change, and to finally break free of all their emotional and psychological pain, then you can go ahead to josephclough.info/talk. When you go there, you book a time on the schedule, and once you do that, you fill out a application form. It is to prepare us to be able to support you, to see if we can help you, and we'll get clear on exactly what you're going through, what you want to let go of, exactly where you want to be, what's getting in the way, and then we'll come up with a custom plan for you to make it a reality. Once again, josephclough.info/talk, but you've got to be so ready and invested, even financially. There's not free. There's going to be an investment into your future self to get out of this physical, psychological, and emotional pain for good. So that's josephclough.info/talk. Now, of course, you can just download the app as well. It is obviously nothing in comparison. I mean, I love my app, but this is fully customized what I do in the main program. But you can download the app, which has all these free recordings. That's my mission, to help as many people as possible at freehypnosis.app. All these episodes get imported in there, and there's 694, so we're getting there. We're putting a lot out there. Over almost 350 hours probably of content alone, all for free. Also, you can unlock the app, transform in the day, transform as you go to sleep at night. And of course, if you enjoy the work, please help me on my mission, supporting and helping more people by leaving a review. And that just means someone may see your review and go, this is what I want as well. Because we live in a skeptical world, right? So if we can do that, support one another by leaving a review, I greatly appreciate you. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was recorded live on YouTube, so go to youtube.com/JosephClough if you did want to join on the pre-show and the after show, and we're about to get to the after show in just a few moments. So with that, my friends, I look forward to speaking to you in a future podcast episode. You have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and just know I believe in you and I want you to transform and receive all your desires. Many thanks and goodbye.